Hey everyone, welcome back to Transit Gateway. In this video, we are going to take a look at the different types of Transit Gateway architectures. With that, we'll get started. The first one that we are seeing right now on your screen is in regards to centralized and isolated architecture. So what does this mean? Let's say that you have VPC A, B, C, and a customer gateway, which points to your on-premise or corporate data centers VPN connection. The Transit Gateway is in the center as a hub. It connects all of these connections as part of attachments. So with the centralized architecture, you can communicate from A, B, C to your on-premise. And from the on-premise, you can talk to A, B, and C, and all of them can talk to each other. So this is like a centralized architecture that you can create. Through this video, I would like you to remember what are all things that are possible. And I would like to open up your mind to new possibilities when it comes to Transit Gateway. So in terms of the isolated architecture, if you think about it, VPC A, B, and C can talk to the on-premise environment. The on-premise environment can talk to A, B, and C, but then A, B, and C cannot talk to each other. So probably A is your dev environment, B is your QA, C is your production environment. They can all talk to your on-premise environment. Probably you have a database over there, but then A, B, and C cannot talk to each other. That is the isolated architecture. With the centralized, everyone can talk to each other. Let's take a look at another architecture. So let's say, for example, you have a shared services architecture where in your shared services VPC, you have something like Elasticsearch or some centralized S3 buckets, or probably some EC2 instances that is serving some purpose in terms of having some shared services installed onto it, which can be accessed from all the other networks that you have. So in this particular architecture, you can say that A, B, and C can talk to shared services as well as the on-prem. The shared services and the on-prem can talk to A, B, and C, but A, B, and C cannot talk to each other. So this is also something that you can do. Probably, let's say you have Elasticsearch cluster where you want to do log analytics. A, B, and C can talk to that, as well as your customer gateway can talk to that Elasticsearch cluster for log analytics. But then A, B, and C cannot talk to each other. This is also something that you can do with a transit gateway. Let's take a look at the next architecture where we look at the peering between transit gateways. Let's say, for example, in account B, a customer has a transit gateway with which he has connected his on-premise infrastructure through a VPN connection, which is to his corporate data center. And let's say in account B, they have another transit gateway, which is connected to multiple VPCs. So in this particular use case, if you want your VPCs behind a transit gateway, talk to your corporate data center, which is again behind a transit gateway. You can ensure that you peer two transit gateways to each other. So you can go ahead and communicate from A and B to your on-premise through transit gateway peering. But then A and B cannot talk to each other. You can do that kind of a strategy. And your on-premise can talk to A and B through the transit gateway peering connection. So this is also a possible architecture in terms of transitive peering when it comes to transit gateway. And recently, I believe they brought out a notification that you can peer transit gateways in the same region also. So that's pretty amazing. Let's take a look at one final architecture in regards to transit gateway, which allows transitive outbound internet access. So let's say, for example, you have VPC-A and VPC-B with only private subnets, and then you have VPC-C, which has a private and a public subnet, where in the private subnet, it has internet connectivity through something called as an NAT gateway, and in the public subnet has an internet gateway. So what if suppose you would like to provide internet access to VPC-A and VPC-B? What you can do is you can ensure that in VPC-A's route table, you have local route and 0.0.0.0/route going to the transit gateway. In VPC-B, you can have a local route and a 0.0.0.0 route go to the transit gateway. In the transit gateway's route table, you can say 0.0.0.0 should go to VPC-C. And through VPC-C's respective route table, the traffic would go through the internet, which is something that we have already studied in terms of a public-private subnet architecture. So VPC-A and VPC-B can get internet access through VPC-C, and all of them are connected through a transit gateway. So the reason why you would have something like this is because you could have some security tools installed onto a virtual machine sitting in VPC-C. And you can say specifically that outbound internet access cannot go to these respective domain names in the internet. those can be controlled. So this could be a security VPC. So these kinds of architectures are possible using the transit gateway. So I hope you got a really good idea in terms of all the architectures that are possible. I'll catch you in the next lecture in terms of some of the best practices I use in an organization for setting up transit gateway.